Woot. Got an 8-rack game. So here recently I've been testing Sorcerer's Spyglass in place of Pithing Needle. And the reason why is because I've found that sometimes I don't always get the discard I need to know what to keep the opponent off of. I'll have the Lantern lock, but I don't know what's in their hand. If they have an answer in hand, then I won't know exactly what to mill. So using Sorcerer's Spyglass instead of Needle, it does slow me down a little bit against like Affinity and whatnot, but it allows me to whir in Spyglass, see what they got in hand, and ensure that I keep the lock and that I don't let something slip through that I wouldn't know otherwise. So anyways, here's a game with that in action where I don't actually, I think, yeah, we're in a Spyglass, but I already knew at that point in this game. So opponent is on A-Rack, and I don't know it yet. So amazingly, yes, I do keep this hand, and it's because I have the 3 blue in case of whir. I have the 2 baubles, which are just fine. I'll just dig deeper into the deck, and I have a Stirrings. Like, yeah, this is keepable. It's fine. And I understand that it probably seems really freaking weird, but whatever. I go for it, and it pays off. So I just play that. I don't do the Stirrings because if they do have discard, I'd rather them discard the Stirrings than discard whatever I Stirrings for, even if I have Academy of Ruins, because I want 3 blue mana on turn 3. So with the Thoughtseize and the basic Swamp, I figure, okay, they're probably on 8-rack. I don't know it for sure yet, but I'm pretty sure. I don't pop the baubles yet because I want to make it so that on turn 3 I can pop the baubles, dig into a bridge if I can, and just play the bridge immediately instead of drawing into a bridge and then having it discarded on turn 2 before I can play it. So here I top deck the Spyglass and I find out for sure what they're on. And I do see, yeah, it is absolutely 8-rack. There's a few things that I note about this hand. One, they do have Raven's Crime, so that's unfortunate. I can't do my holding lands thing as efficiently as I normally do. They have Wrench Mind, which is really good, but they only have 1 black mana. And Fatal Push, dead card, and Mutavault, which is a slow clock. Now I have a choice between naming Mutavault or Liliana the Veil with this Spyglass. Mutavault is such a slow clock that I can go ahead and name Lily instead. And that's what I end up doing. They draw a Smallpox. Of course, I don't know that. But again, they only have 1 black mana. Yeah, I discard the Glimmervoid because I want to keep that Academy Ruins. And here's where I sack my bauble. 1 of them. Draw 2. I get a Lantern. I'm like, well, I'll go ahead and play it out now. Because I figure if they do... Well, I know that he's got Shrieking Affliction. And I figure that if he plays Affliction, then I can just pop the baubles and not take any damage by stacking it so I draw before the Affliction goes off. So I do, pop the baubles, draw land, and now I also see an Engineered Explosives on top. Now, I already know the rest of the cards in my opponent's hand. So I know that thanks to Engineered Explosives and Academy of Ruins, I can just wipe every single rack or Shrieking Affliction that they draw. And all I have to do is draw that Engineered Explosives, play it, and I can kill that. And then they're left to try to kill me with Mutavault, pretty much. And even if they make me discard all of this stuff, then I can just get it right back. It also makes it so that Engineered Explosives on 1 does not kill my Spyglass. So they try to make me discard a card instead of attacking for 2. And I'm not playing these because I want to just hold them for after I pop the explosives. They still haven't drawn the 2nd black mana, so I know I don't have to worry about the Smallpox and the Wrench Minds here. Here's where I had to think about it a little bit because I do know that there's an Herb Ward coming up. And I figure, well, if I keep this, and I let all of the lantern and the explosives go, I can still take out the affliction, take no damage. Stirrings for another lantern if I can, and then I'll get the lock immediately. So that's what I do. Stirrings, I do not get a lantern, and I think real long and hard here, because my other options were I could have also gotten Mishra's Bauble, Codex Shredder, Collective Brutality. Well, I can't get a Brutality, so I get this because I figure they might Smallpox, and I want to make sure I have the 3 lands that I need to use for Academy Ruins, so I can get back the lantern and have the lock. Yeah, and instead of Smallpoxing, I guess they see that already, and the Wrench Mines don't do squat, so Smallpox and attacking are their only choices. I figure it looks like they're trying to get the lock as quickly as they can. What that does do for me is now I get the lock immediately, just by putting Lantern back on top. Draw a Lantern, play a Lantern, lock is set. They have Lily, but I already have a Spyglass naming Lily, so I'm good. In the turn I mill that rack, and I mill my Brutality, and there's a Whir on top. I decided to go ahead and Whir now, so that I don't give them a chance to activate Mutavault on their turn. And I Whir for the Spyglass, name Mutavault, and then opponent concedes and decides not to try to play. They don't do a game 2, so it's just 1-0 against 8 rack.